All right, today we are gonna. Yesterday, your practice problems involved triangles, and today you're going to be finding the perimeter slash circumference and area of a rectangle square and circle. And you've got those formulas in your notes from yesterday. So if you want to look on page 87 in the book, I'm going to do examples of the problems I'm going to give you guys today. So the first thing I'm looking at is problem number 2, where you're asked to find the perimeter and area of a rectangle. And then you've got this rectangle on the coordinate plane, and it looks something like this. And we've got vertices A, B, C, and D. And I'm just going to change the values. All right, so we'll make this -3, 8, and 5, 6. Point C, we'll make it at 2, 1. And point D is at -4 and 5. So we've got opposite sides of a rectangle are congruent. So the top side AB is congruent to side DC, and side AD is congruent to side BC. All right, and perimeter is equal to 2 of the lengths plus 2 of the widths. So we only need to find the length of AB and BC, and that's all the information that we need for this problem. So what you got to do here is the distance formula twice. So you can label your points x sub 1, y sub 1, and x sub 2, y sub 2. And we need to find the distance from A to B. So AB is equal to the square root of x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So it's going to be 5 minus -3 squared plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1. So 6 minus 8 squared. And then we can do everything underneath the radical in the calculator. So 5 minus -3 is 8 squared is 64. 6 minus 8 is -2. And -2 squared is 4. So we need the square root of 68. And the square root of 68 is equal to 8.2. So side AB in this rectangle is 8.2. Everybody okay with that? Distance formula. Now we need the length of side BC. And since I already labeled side B x sub 2, x sub 1, I'll label side C x sub 1, y sub 1. So we're going to find the length of side AC. And that's equal to the square root of our x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So 5 minus 2 squared plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1. And BC? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Side BC. Side BC. All right. So we got 5 minus 2 squared plus 6 minus 1 squared. Squared. So 5 minus 2 is 3 squared is, what's 3 squared? 9 plus 6 minus 1 is 5, and 5 squared is 25. And 9 plus 25 is 34. And the square root of 34 is 5.8. So side BC is 5.8. So I'm going to go back up to this perimeter formula, which is 2 lengths plus 2 widths. And that's going to be equal to 2 times 8.2 plus 2 times 5.8. And you can type that right into your calculator. So 2 times 8.2 plus 2 times 5.8. What do you guys get? Anybody? Nobody? Well, I got 28. All right, so your perimeter is equal to 28. That's the distance around the rectangle. And then the area of a rectangle is equal to length times width. So the area is equal to 8.2 times 5.8. And 47.6. So there's your area, and there's your perimeter of a rectangle that is on the coordinate plane. Any questions there? The next thing you're going to do is find the circumference and area of a circle. And you're going to be given the coordinates of the center of the circle. So we're going to call this A, and it's at 3, 4. And then you're going to be given 1 point on the circle. So point B, and it's at 5, 1. So the perimeter of a circle is equal to 2 times pi times the radius. And the area of the circle is equal to pi times the radius squared. So you need to find the length of this radius, and the length of the radius is going to be the distance from point A to point B. So again, you can label the points. We got an x sub 1 and a y sub 1, x sub 2 and y sub 2. Our distance from A to B is also the radius, so I'm just going to call it r. So our radius is equal to the square root of 5 minus 3 squared plus 1 minus 4 squared. And we get 5 minus 3 is 2, squared is 1 minus 4, negative 3, squared is 9. So we need the square root of 13. And the square root of 13 is 3.6. So our radius is equal to 3.6. So now we can take the radius and just substitute it into our perimeter formula. So we're going to go 2 times pi times 3.6. And on your calculator, 2 above and 1 to the left of the 7 is the pi button. And you're better off just using that pi button anytime that you have the pi symbol in an equation. So you can push 2 times pi button times 3.6. And what do you get? 22.6. Good, 22.6 for a perimeter. And in this case, be careful here in the area formula. All right, you got to make sure that it's pi times the radius squared. You got to make sure you square the radius first. So I'm just going to type it in backwards. I'm going to take the pi times 2.6 squared. The 2.6 needs to be squared. Another thing you can do when you're squaring a number, you type the number into your calculator, 2.6, and then 2 buttons above the 8, there's an x squared button, and that's a shortcut to square anything. So I got 2.6 on my screen, and I push x squared, and then I can push times the pi button and hit equals. Anybody? Hit equals. 21.2. Type it in again if you didn't get 21.2, please. 2.6 x squared. 3.6. Oh, man. All right, sorry. So let me get that out of there and change it to 3.6. So 3.6 squared times pi button. What do you get now? Anybody? 40.7? Good. All right, so the key to these circle problems today is going to be to find the distance or to find the radius first using the distance formula. And then once you find that radius, obviously you want to make sure that you plug in the right number into the formula and not mess that up like I did. And I did that on purpose just to see who was paying attention. So for those of you that were paying attention, thank you. The last problem you're going to have to do today is find the area of a square on the coordinate plane. You're going to be told that it's a square. So let's say we've got point H at 3, -5, point G at 5, -1, point F is at 7, -5, and probably E. E is at 4, -7. So if you're told that it's a square, in a square, all the sides are the same. Perimeter of a square is equal to 4 times one of the sides. And area of a square is equal to one of the sides squared. So you can pick any side in this square, find the distance or the length of the side, and that'll be the only dimension that you need to find the perimeter in the area. So I'm going to find side GF. So G to F, I'm going to label these again, X sub 1, Y sub 1, X sub 2, Y sub 2. So G to F is going to be equal to 7 minus 5 squared plus -5 minus -1 squared. Seven minus 5 squared. So we got 4 plus, be careful over here, -5 minus -1 turns into -5 plus 1, which is -4. Squared is 16, so we need the square root of 20. So G to F is equal to, anybody? 4.5. So this 4.5 becomes the length of all of the sides of this square. All right. So our perimeter is going to be equal to 4 times 4.5. $17.9, and our area is going to be equal to 4.5 squared, 20.3. Anybody have any questions? Your practice today will be on page 87. Two through 5. 7 and 9. You got 10 topics this week. And you guys need to check focus daily for an electronic assignment. All right, check for an electronic assignment. Anybody have any questions? All right.